Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana. 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 Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana. 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 Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Gopinath Radhe, Jayo Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Jayo Shri Gopal, Shri Gopal, Shri Gopal, Jaya Shri Gopal. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jai Gurudev. Jai Gaur Premanandi. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramhansa Parivachakacharya Stotra Sadasya Srimad His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंज श्री राधा कुंज श्री गिरि गोवर्धन की ब्रजभूमि श्री वृंदावन धाम की मायापुर नवद्वीप धाम की पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की गंगा मैया जमुना मैया की भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की समवेद गौर भक्त वृंद की निताय गौर प्रेमानंदी. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudhirahe Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Ruttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 17, text 1. The chapter is entitled The Punishment and Reward of Kali. Can somebody off the fountain, please? Sutta Uvacha Tatra Go Maithunam Raja Anyamanam Anathavad Dandahastam cha Vrishalam Dadrashendripam Lanchanam. Sutta Uvacha Tatra Go Maithunam Raja Anyamanam Anantavad Dantahastam cha Vrishalam Dadrashendripam Lanchanam. Sutta Uvacha Tatra Go Maithunam Raja Anyamanam Anathavad Dandahastam cha Vrishalam Dadrashendripam Lanchanam. Mataji's. Sutta Uvacha, Sri Sutta Goswami said, Tatra, thereupon, Go Maithunam, a cow and a bull, Raja, the king, Anyamanam, being beaten, Anantavat, appearing to be bereft of their owner. Appearing to be bereft of their owner. Dandahastam, with a club in hand. Cha, also. Vrishalam, low caste. Shudra, Shuddha Dadrase, observed. Nripa, a king. Lanchanam, dressed like. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Sutta Goswami said, after reaching that place, Maharaj Parikshit observed that a low caste Shudra, dressed like a king, was beating a cow and a bull with a club as if they had no owner. Purport. The principal sign of the age of Kali is that low caste Shudras, that is, men without Brahmanical culture and spiritual initiation, will be dressed like administrators or kings, and the principal business of such non Kshatriya rulers will be to kill the innocent animals, especially the cows and the bulls, who shall be unprotected by their masters, the bona fide Vaishyas, the mercantile community. In Bhagavad Gita 18.44, it is said that the Vaishyas are meant to deal in agriculture, cow protection, and trade. In the age of Kali, the degraded Vaishyas, the mercantile men, engage in supplying cows to the slaughterhouses. The Kshatriyas are meant to protect the citizens of the state, whereas the Vaishyas are meant to protect the cows and the bulls and utilize them to produce grains and milk. The cow is meant to deliver milk, and the bull is meant to produce grains. But in the age of Kali, the Shudra class of men are in the post of administrators, and the cows and bulls, or the mothers and the fathers, unprotected by the Vaishyas, are subjected to the slaughterhouses organized by the Shudra administrators. Om Agyan Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratvise Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Brindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So, welcome to this Sunday feast event at Radha Gopinath Temple, wherein we are fortunate to be participating in this wonderful reading of Srimad Bhagavatam every day. Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanamam Prapadyante Vasudeva Sarvamiti Sam Mahatma Sudurlabha. So, this verse beautifully explains the great fortunate position of all of us. Fortunate does not necessarily mean that we are great. Fortunate means we are somehow that been recipients of some fortune. Sudurlabha. It is very rare that people get a chance to really understand the higher, the finer, the subtler aspects of life. Most of the people in the most part of their lives are simply living a very gross life. And that grossness is explained by these four terms: eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. Very gross. Nothing refined, nothing subtle, there's no finesse in their lives. There's no fineness in their lives. But people with higher intelligence, people who are seeking the higher purpose of life than just being engaged in these gross activities, they seek shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam. Because the whole basis of Srimad Bhagavatam, the whole purpose why the scripture came into being, was when Parikshit Maharaj, as we all know, he was cursed to die in 7 days. And as we all know, he was Maharaj, he was the emperor, he had everything, he could have really done everything that he wanted in those 7 days. Many times, when there are places called hospice. Hospice is a place where people are terminally sick, terminally dying. They are on the last stages of their life. And as part of humanity, there are many people who want to offer service to those people who are just in their final days of their lives. And they feel that this is their service. It could be good, but many times when you go to these hospices and you ask them, what do you really want? Please tell us, we want to fulfill your desire, because this is just a few days or few months of your life. It's a noble act, right? It's a noble thing to really fulfill a desire of a person who is dying. But 99.99% of the people who express their desires is in something very, very gross, very horrid. I know of people who have expressed desires to enjoy with their body with a particular female, and their desire was fulfilled. The female felt, oh, it is my fortune, I could fulfill this man's desire. How horrible. You feel good about these things. Somebody say, you know what, I always wanted to fly in a plane. Let me go in a plane once. A young boy, not a young boy, but a teenager. And they say, okay, yes, so somebody has sponsored his ticket in premium. I mean, it is the first class ticket. He goes around the flight, enjoying, and then comes and in 3 days he dies. The point I'm trying to drive, my dear friends, is that here was Parikshit Maharaj, who knew he was dying in 7 days, and he had all the facilities. He didn't have to really go and ask for somebody to fulfill his desires. He had everything. But what did he do? He even gave up his royal clothes, just wearing just the bare minimum clothes, and went on the banks of Saraswati and just was hearing from the mouth of Sukadev Goswami. And what was it that he heard? The Srimad Bhagavatam. Nashta prayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavatir-uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtaki. Because the purpose of life is to establish bhakti in our heart as an irrevocable fact. Not just superficial bhakti. We can get superficial bhakti, but here the Bhagavatam establishes bhakti in your heart as an irrevocable fact. Of course, I've spoken this many times, but I love this word which is translated by Prabhupada, irrevocable. And it is very easily understood when you use this word in legal terminology. Right? Those we make legal papers and then we stamp it. And this is irrevocable deed. Nobody can revoke it, right? And it's a stamp, red color stamp. You can't remove that stamp because there's a whole process it's called franking. It's a franking done, irrevocable fact. So this deed between these two people is an irrevocable fact, cannot be changed. Similarly, my dear friends, that is the purpose of a human form of life. To establish bhakti in our heart as an irrevocable fact. Manushya janama paya, Radha Krishna na bhajiya, janiya shuniya vishakhainu. So our acharyas explained the purpose of human form of life very nicely. So when we are reading Srimad Bhagavatam, the purpose of this scripture and every verse of the scripture is primarily to make us understand two things. When you're sitting in the class, the purpose is twofold. Okay, it could be manifold, but primarily twofold. Is to understand the great emergency of taking up the process of Krishna consciousness. And the word uses, it's an emergency. When is this word used, emergency? Just recently, in one of the countries in this world, the president announced an emergency for 3 months because there was an earthquake. It is a devastated situation right now in that place. And they said it's an emergency. That means everything is in a state of emergency. People have to really understand it is a great emergency, means things are on a superlative level of functioning. Similarly, all of us should understand Krishna consciousness is an emergency. It cannot wait. Just yesterday we celebrated the appearance day of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And this is exactly what he told Srila Prabhupada, Abhay Charan Day, when he met in 1922. That Krishna consciousness is an emergency. It cannot wait for anything. Fine, you are a freedom fighter. You joined a particular freedom fighter and you are inspired by him. That's good. But Krishna consciousness cannot wait. You can carry on with your activities, but Krishna consciousness cannot wait. And that is why Parikshit Maharaj was put in a scenario where he was in an emergency situation. In 7 days, there was a snake bird who was going to come and destroy him. And of course, as he could have counteracted, but he didn't. And it was going to happen. He knew it was going to happen. When I first, in the initial days of my Krishna consciousness, when I first heard a class on Bhagavad Gita, so one of the speaker said, everybody in this room is going to die in 7 days. So I said, "Kyun aaya idhar?" And what sort of statement this fellow is making? You are going to die in 7 days. I said, I wish I was not in this room. And then he explained that you are all going to die in 7 days because you are going to die either on a Monday or a Tuesday or a Wednesday or a Thursday or a Friday or a Saturday or a Sunday. But which Monday we don't know. I said, thank God. Thank God. But that created a deep thought process in my heart and my mind. This was just the time I was just experimenting with Krishna consciousness. I was just trying to see whether it makes sense. And this statement made a lot of sense. And I said, you are going to die. But it could be this Monday or Monday after 50 years. But you are going to die. So if you are going to die, means everything that you have is going to be taken away. Isn't it an emergency situation, my dear friends? That means everything you have is going to be taken away. It is an emergency situation. Just like Parikshit Maharaj. So we are not in a different scenario than Parikshit Maharaj. You can't say, oh, poor king, 7 days mein. We are all in the same situation. Right? And that is why we take shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam. And that is why the temple provides this beautiful facility for all of us to come every Sunday, get ourselves entertained, culturally enlivened by these beautiful kids performing such wonderful dances, dramas, sloka recitations. I think none of us could really recite slokas the way they do. What were we doing when we were at their age? Many of us who are sitting here. Think about it. But, they are doing something, they are teaching us, just reciting beautiful slokas from Gita, dances. The only dance I knew was just moving. That's all I learned. I never learned any classical dance, nothing. It's just some crazy dance. And that time, during our times, it was all disco dance. But when we see these young girls and boys dancing so classically to Indian culture is so wonderful, right? So I think we should all appreciate the facility that temple is providing us, not just to spiritually enliven us, but to culturally also rejuvenate us. And then, of course, when you go down, your taste buds are rejuvenated by some wonderful prasad. So it is a all-round experience. And this Bhagavatam is sandwiched between that. Between prasadam and between culture, Bhagavatam, where you can nourish your soul. Yeah. So today is a very auspicious day. Every day is auspicious. But today is a very auspicious day, and we are going to discuss later part of our class. It is the appearance day of a very, very special personality. The personality whose name has to be used if you want to glorify Krishna. You cannot glorify Krishna without using this name. Any guesses? If you know, you know. But it's the appearance day of Mother Yashoda. Today is the wonderful appearance day of the mother of Krishna, Mother Yashoda. And we are going to be discussing such an amazing personality. But anyway, we are going to spend time discussing this first. So here is the time, my dear friends, where it was a particular instant in the history where Kali was in action. What happened exactly? When Krishna departed for the spiritual world, at a particular point in time, he left. The moment Krishna departed, as he was departing to the spiritual world, finishing his beautiful pastimes, 125 years of amazing Janma Karma Chame Divyam. The Divya pastime of Krishna was ending and he was going back to his abode. As he was ascending, somebody was descending. It was absolutely a very, very coherent process. Kali was descending down. And this can be very, very nicely understood by the occurrence that we see every day, if you have a time to see. And that is when the sun is setting. The sun is there, everything is bright. And the moment the sun is there, it is bright, beautiful, energetic, blissful. As the sun sets, at a point in time, note, if you have not noted it already, note it today evening. Maybe sit on some open space and note it. As the sun sets, darkness engulfs everything. Sri Radha Gopinath ki. As the sun sets, darkness engulfs everything. And of course, in cities, the lights are on and everything becomes on. But if you go to places where there are no physical lights, darkness engulfs everything. And when with darkness comes fear, with darkness comes uncertainty, and everything like that engulfs the whole place, isn't it? But sun, Krishna Surya Sama Maya Hoy Andakar, Jahan Krishna Taan Nahi Maya Adhikar. Beautiful. Krishna Surya Sama Maya Andakar. And Prabhupada found this so important that he made it the very the tagline for Bhakti, for the Back to Godhead magazine. So Krishna ascended and Kali descended. And at that time, can you imagine, just 5,000 years ago, there was absolutely no place where Kali could stay. And that was just 5,000 years ago. Not a long, long time ago. And then the intent of Kali was very evident. And how did Kali show his intent? Like everybody wants to do something wrong, he will first show by his or her intent. You understand the word intent? He shows by what he wants to achieve in due course. A robber, or a murderer, he wants to murder somebody. He shows by his intent. And how does he show it? Maybe he buys a knife. And I remember this. Remember, I was doing book distribution, December marathon, and we were at Malar station, and we were just selling books, and we would approach people, buy this books. So, I I was not on the stall. I was a little away from the stall, and I was selling to this person. I said, books le lo, Bhagavad Gita. Say, hey, kya hai ye? In Hindi. I said, Gita hai. And then he spoke to me something, and then he had a full sleeve shirt, and he put his shirt up. And he showed a big knife. I said, oh my God. Ab jao, mat lo Gita, go away. I was so horridly shocked because he was showing his intent. And he was actually, I'm not exaggerating, my dear friends. I will never do that on sitting on this Vyasa seat. He was actually on the way to go to Malad East to murder somebody. He told me that. I said, what do I do now? I said, but luckily he had touched the Gita. He had seen the photograph. Because I had shown him that. Then he went, of course, I was shivering for some time. I said, my God, I've never seen such type of interaction. I never had. I'm sure all of you also, right? Somebody actually, and it was. I didn't know it, but he said the name of this type of knife is called Gupti. For those who know all these types of, it seems to be a very ghastly knife. Anyway, lucky for him, and lucky for the person, he came, there was a heart change. Or maybe, I don't know, something changed. They say, hey, Gita de. He bought the Gita, and I don't think he committed the thing that he wanted to commit. I was happy because he bought the Gita, he paid me the money also. I was ready to give him free of cost. I said, I was in fact ready to pay him also. I said, take the Gita and take some money from me, but go away from here. But he paid me money. So the point I'm trying to say, the intent. The person was showing his intent of what he wanted to do. Similarly, Kali was showing his intent of what is going to be happening, what he was going to do in due course. He was ruthlessly beating a cow and a bull. Horrible situation. The beautiful cow, which is a representative of Mother Earth, and the bull representing religiosity, was getting brutally beaten by this horrible person. Sridhar Swami says, this person didn't come as looking like an obnoxiously cruel person. He came dressed in golden garments, and that's exactly what is explained by Sutta Goswami here. He observed a low caste Shudra dressed like a king, and Sridhar Swami explains in more details that he was dressed like a king, wearing golden garments, very, very wonderfully ornamented, looking like a king, but not a king, but a cruel, heinous, low caste, abominable creature. He was beat. How can you beat the cow and a bull? Bloody. They're just bleeding. Think about it, my dear friends. Isn't it such a sad thing that was happening? He was showing his intent. What was his intent? This is what he was going to do with all the people of Kaliyuga. It began with the cow and the bull, the innocent. But that was his intent. We're going to capture everybody and brutally beat them. Maybe not physically, but by his atrocities. And isn't that what is happening now? We are constantly Kali Kukura Kadan Yadi Chao. We want to get rid of that dog-like personality, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says. Dogs are good, but when a dog goes crazy, it's very dangerous. We want to get rid of that dog-like personality of Kali. Then he says, Kaliyuga Pavana Kali Bhaya Nashana Sri Sachinandana Gaure Gadadhara Madana Nityananda Pranadana Advaitera Prabhujita Chora. So it says that you sing the glorious names of the Lord and his associates, and by that you'll be free of this dog-like personality of Kali. So this particular Kali that we are talking about, what is the quality of this age of Kali? Or what is the qualities of the people of the age of Kali? What is the qualities of age of Kali and how he influences people? This age is called what? Is the age of quarrel and hypocrisy. Yes, we all understand. This age is the age of quarrel and hypocrisy. Why is this age an age of quarrel? Why is there fights every now and then? Because our acharyas explain, I was reading one of the commentaries on this particular verse, and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that one of the major diseases of Kali, or the main attribute of Kaliyuga, is to undermine authority. Nobody wants to follow authority. Do you experience this? People love to break authorities. I know if a particular traffic police is saying stop, you love to break the signal. Maja aa gaya. Right? There's an innate pleasure to break the laws of authority. Yes, you agree? It's fun. I remember in my childhood, I would spend time in Gujarat. And of course, Gujarat is much different now. But earlier, it was, I mean, it was quite a lawless state, to say the least. And then I remember my cousins would drive me on their bikes. And then in Bombay, we have some regard for signals, and so we wait. But I remember this policeman there was no signal like lights. They used to use hands. So he was in one of the center. He was holding his hand, and my cousin would love it. He would go below his hand. He would just go below his hand, and he would love it. Wow, maja aa gaya, maja aa gaya. Now this is one silly thing that we are talking about, but this is a sign of how much we love to not follow authority. And this goes on, and it permeates our life, it permeates our spiritual life, it permeates our social life. We don't want to follow authority, and that is the basic attribute of Kaliyuga. And if nobody wants to follow authority, and that means we want to do what we want to do, because if authority is there, one authority, everybody does what the authority says, right? But if we want to do what we want to do, that means you do what you want, I do what I want, and obviously what you want and what I want is never going to be same. And that's how this age is the age of quarrel, beautifully explained by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. It was not just out of blue moon he said quarrel, but that is the reason why it is age of quarrel. Because everybody wants to do what they want to do, and there's never going to be matching. It's always going to be different. Even in spiritual life, I mean, he wants to do some service like this, they want to do some service like this. That's why Prabhupada said that you can show your love for me on how you cooperate. Because that is one of the signs to say no to Kali, when you cooperate under authority. It was a very deep, profound statement, my dear friends. You're not just a Prabhupada said, show your love for me, how you cooperate. It was a profound statement because he knew what is the purpose of what he was saying. Yeah. So the symptom of the age of Kali is to not follow authorities. And this man who was beating the cow in the bull, Parikshit Maharaj comes, he said, what do you think you are doing? And we will see in the future verses, he really chastises this person. What do you think you are doing? Do you think these people are not in any under my care? How dare you do this? Get out of my kingdom. There was no place for him. And Parikshit Maharaj was ruthlessly heavy on this person. Get out. There's no way you can do this. I'm there to protect everybody, including those people who are otherwise very, very simplistic personalities like the cow. The cow is very, very, what is the right word? The cow is very innocent. The animals are very innocent. And that is why the kings of the past, they had this title after the name, Siha. Jajik Singh Siha. As our names, their names would be ending with Siha, lion. right? Different kings, right? Siha. Why? Because this is exactly the administrators, the kings were supposed to protect like lions. Anybody who comes, they were supposed to protect. That's why the word Siha was given to them. That was the purpose of Kshatriyas, to protect. And Parikshit Maharaj was saying, this is my duty. I will protect whoever is under my care. And then, of course, as we know, the Kali said, well, I'm also part of your kingdom. I must find some place where somewhere I can stay. And then, as we say, that is why this chapter is called Punishment and Reward of Kali. He was punished. Get out. But they say, give me some. I say, okay, I give these places to stay. 5 places where there is meat eating, gambling, intoxication, and illicit sex happening. I said, but that's not happening in your kingdom. I say, go for 5th place where there is accumulation of gold. I said, fine. Then he went. So, if you analyze, my dear friends, this particular occurrence that is happening here, is that Kaliyuga began when a particular person who was acting like a king was not having qualities of a king, isn't it? He was dressed like a king, but he was not having qualities like a king. So he was actually cheating people. Many a times, in our lives, we come across, and more relevant to us is many a times in our life, we ourselves, have this, what we call, Pondraka-like facade. What is it? What does it mean? Pondrak, a very, very interesting personality in Bhagavatam. I mean, you cannot stop laughing when you talk about him. This man, he said, he just felt that he was Krishna. So he stuck 2 arms. It's like the drama, we do dramas, and we know how difficult it is to become Krishna. I mean, you can, and you 4 arms, you have to stick it, and then he actually had a golden hair, and he had a costume. He was a crazy, funny person. But he was powerful, of course. He was not just, he was powerful. But Krishna just laughed at him. If you see it, Bhagavatam, when he first saw Pandrak face to face in the battlefield, he just laughed. I said, what sort of person you are? Because he had a facade of Krishna. He was sort of appearing to be like Krishna, but he was actually Pandrak. Actually a false Krishna. We all have our facades. We all wear something that we look like something that we are not. Or rather, we want to look like something that people would want us to be, but we are not that. And that is why this particular syndrome or this particular living is called to have a Pondraka-like facade. To have a facade of Pondrak, but not having the substance. In English, we have a phrase, first dress and then address, right? Yes, Sridama Prabhu, we have that phrase, first dress and then address. Now, when you say dress and address, I mean, in a superficial way, you say, first wear a nice dress. I mean, it might sound like that, right? Wear a nice dress and then you address. I mean, but do you think it is that shallow a statement that is somebody's telling you just dress nicely and then address? Dress and address means you first have those qualities that you are going to be speaking about, adorning your personality. Let you be dressed in those qualities before you address others. That's the deep understanding of the phrase, first dress and then address. Kaliyuga, Prabhupada says so beautifully. It says, the principal sign of Kali is that low-caste Shudras, men without Brahmanical culture and spiritual initiation, will be dressed like administrators or kings. Now, of course, here Prabhupada is, we can say it is dressing, means the dress that he was wearing. But if you go more deeper, it is that sometimes, we act as leaders, but we do not have the qualities of the leaders. And that is why it is important to really understand Where do we draw our strengths from as devotees? Please understand, we have to draw our strength from somewhere, right? Like, for example, where does the, like, just a very simple example, there is a tree or a plant. Where does the tree or a plant draw its strength from? From where? From the roots, but from the water which is coming from the roots. So it draws the strength, right? It constantly needs, and if the strength is not coming, you see the plant getting shriveled up and in due course dying, because it is drawing the strength from the ground. Similarly, where does the, I'm trying to just give examples, where does the automobile draw its strength from? From the gas or the petrol that it has, right? If you have a car but there is no this thing, you can on it, but because there's nothing to draw. You please understand, the word draw is very nice. It is drawing from somewhere. It is not innately present. The car does not have an innate capacity to be driven. It has to draw the strength from somewhere. The plant doesn't have, the plant means on the top. It doesn't have the innate capacity. It has to draw the energy from the soil. Right? So similarly, as devotees, we have to constantly draw our strength from somewhere. And what is that? Where do we draw our strength from as devotees? By chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So that is where when we chant Hare Krishna, every single day, 16 rounds of the Maha Mantra, of whatever numbers that you have taken your vows to perform, and not performing sinful activities. Because performing sinful activities means the sinful activities draws away your strength. But we want to draw the strength. So we do not do the sinful activities, and we draw the strength from chanting. We draw the strength from association. We draw the strength from Bhagavatam. We draw the strength from various activities of Krishna consciousness, like deity worship and Harinam Sankirtan. We draw our strength from these places, right? When we come to the temple, we feel rejuvenated. When we chant good rounds, we get rejuvenated. We feel as if, yes, I've got rejuvenated, I've got re-energized. And then when we go back on a Monday, we are ready to face the world. Yes. When you go to yatras, what yatra experience? He said, Prabhu, recharge ho gaya. We've had recharge, right? When you go to a holy place. Why? Because that holy place recharges yourself. You draw the strength from this holy place. The holy pastimes, we draw the strength from those places. So a devotee has to draw strength. You cannot survive without drawing strength. You will be shriveled and you will die spiritually if you stop drawing strength. Right? But the problem is, my dear friends, what has been explained over here by Srila Prabhupada is that when the leaders, or rather when devotees in general, they try to draw the strength from the wrong places. That's a problem. Drawing is always there. But you draw it from the wrong places. In due course, it's a problem. And it will not give rise to your Krishna consciousness, but it will give rise to, say, various other things. So, we could draw just few examples. I'm just trying to just share of what we can try to understand from this verse practically for all of us. But because Bhagavatam is a very practical scripture. I mean, you can always go back and say, well, I heard this. I'm never going to be beating a cow because I love cows. I feed them. I'm never going to be beating the bull. So how is this verse relevant to me? It is nice. I heard it, Kaliyuga. But there is relevance, direct relevance to us. May not be exactly the action that you are hearing about. But Bhagavatam is deep as an ocean. And there's profoundness, and there's lesson, and there's practical application for all of us. Because what do we want to learn from it? Prabhupada is saying that when leaders who look like something, but they're not behaving like something. When devotees, they look like devotees. How do devotees look like devotees? When they wear a particular type of dress, when they have a particular type of ornaments, when a particular type of lingo, the way they speak, they look like devotees. But if they are not necessarily drawing their strength 100% from the principles that we talked about, and they could be drawing their strength from somewhere else. And you think Maya is happy that we all are devotees? Or she says, oh, I bless all of you, my dear friends. Oh, after such a long work, I bless you, become a devotees. That's not her duty. If she's doing that, she's not doing her duty to Krishna. She is not the least happy. She is going to be really struggling. She's ruthless, please understand. She's cruel, please understand that. I remember a graphic description given by His Holiness Sachinandan Swami Maharaj many, many years back, how he described Maya Devi. And you know the way he talks is so sweet. And he was telling us, oh, Maya will tell you to sit. Please sleep on my lap. Oh, you're a devotee. Please sleep. You have been getting up every day in the morning at 4 o'clock. You're doing so much of tapasya. I don't know how many of us get up at 4 o'clock. But, hopefully we are. But you're doing so much tapasya. You have been saying no to all the pani puris and the bhel puris on the street. You're not eating all the things that you want to eat. Very nice. So she's caressing us. And you feel, oh, so nice. I said, she's a nice lady. And Sajjananda Swami was explaining that she caresses you and she just peps you up and feel nice. And the most unexpected moment when you are almost like sleeping. Like when somebody caresses you, feel like sleeping. He was explaining. And then she will give you a tight slap. Pat! Just imagine if you're sleeping on somebody's lap, so nice, and it's just you get a tight whack on your cheeks. And she says, oh, you think I'm happy with what you're doing? Take this trouble. Maya is not going to be happy, my dear friends. Please understand that. She's going to work hard more on us than the outsiders to really make sure we come back to her control. Prabhupada said this. He quoted his godbrother. Prabhupada said it, and please understand, when Prabhupada said something, it is serious business. Prabhupada said it. He was quoting his godbrothers. And he said, my godbrother told me that the problem with your devotees in ISKCON is they are not sufficiently scared of Maya. We feel Maya, I'm a devotee now 20 years. Maya, what? Talk something else. Talk something higher. Maya, ho gaya sab. I've taken care of her. Never. It is said that till you find yourself, both your feet firmly rooted in the spiritual world, you should still be scared of Maya. Because even if one feet is rooted and one feet still pull you out. And that's exactly what happened with Bharat Maharaj. So please, let us never underestimate. So if we are trying to draw the strength, we have to draw the strength. We were trying to draw the strength in the bliss of the power that we get in performing Krishna consciousness. Or the respect that we get in Krishna consciousness. That is what this is called a Labh, Puja and Pratishtha. Our acharyas explain this. Because with Krishna consciousness, my dear friends, we do get what? Labh. You all got Labh, Puja, Pratishtha. People really respect you. The RTOs respect you. RTOs say कि अच्छा आप devotee है, चलो आपको माफ किया. Sometimes RTOs charge you double. But the point is, just by wearing a tilak, people say, "Go, आप भगवान का आदमी है." Right? Yes or no? We all have experienced this. People behave with us differently many times, not most of the time. But if we derive the strength, if we start enjoying and drawing our strength, and as we spend more time in Krishna consciousness, and as we take more responsibility of Krishna consciousness, as Prabhupada explained, when the leaders and everybody in due course or in their own ways are leaders. Leaders are leaders, but in due course, everybody is a leader. If we try to enjoy and draw strength from the power, the respect, the independence, the special favors and everything that we get in Krishna consciousness, then what is happening? We are drawing the strength, but it will give rise to something else. It will not give rise to Krishna consciousness. So many times we start drawing strength from the seniority of Krishna consciousness. Right? We become senior. Hey, I'm a senior devotee. I mean, you might not say that because it is not a good thing to say, but you always feel, 20 years I've given to Krishna. And this is how you talk to me? So we all have that particular pride of seniority. And the interesting part is that even in our society also, somehow or the other, we introduce a person, oh, this is Vrishabhanu Prabhu. And the next statement to introduce Srimad Prabhu, he has spent 30 years in Krishna consciousness. Right? Yes or no? This is the natural way to introduce somebody. He is Rohinandan Prabhu. He has spent 40 years in Krishna consciousness. Wow. So it is wonderful that this wonderful devotees, Vaishnavas, have spent so many years in Krishna consciousness, but that does not mean that those number of years is the only barometer to judge the person's greatness. So then naturally we start giving a lot of importance to the number of years in Krishna consciousness. And the moment we are trying to draw the strength from those number of years, then we come to a situation like Ramchandra Puri. What was Ramchandra Puri doing? He was drawing his strength from being a direct disciple of Madhavendra Puri, and he went to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and said, you know what you are doing? And he became a blasphemer of Lord Chaitanya. He started finding faults in Lord Chaitanya. He was started correcting Lord Chaitanya, you're eating too much. You're eating sweets. He saw some ants. In Jagannath Puri, or for that matter, anywhere in India, ants are always there. He saw some ants entering the house of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It's ants, that means there is sweets. That means in the night, you're sitting in a corner and eating sweets. You just show yourself to be a sannyasi, but you're actually eating sweets. Ramchandra Puri, a disciple of Madhavendra Puri, a godbrother of Ishwara Puri. But unfortunately, what we learn, what he's teaching by his example is what we should not do. He was drawing his strength from his seniority only and not from the practice of Krishna consciousness. He found faults in Lord Chaitanya. So, this is a problem. Many times, the second way, we could be drawing our strength, we could be showing what we are, we could be drawing our strength from our past accomplishments. Yes, in the past, many of us have done great things. We have done, but we keep, 20 years back I did this, that's good. But you cannot be ding-donging your accomplishments every now and then and start drawing the strength. अरे तेरे को पता है क्या मैंने 20 साल पहले मैंने 100 book किया था. That's good. All glories to you. But so what now? What are you doing now is important. Isn't it? But there is a tendency, my dear friends. Search deep within your heart and you will find that we all have that tendency to just, draw our strength from the past accomplishments of what we have achieved in our life. But in this scenario, we learn from the glorious, humble disposition of Hanumanji. Let's learn something from him in this regard. Hanumanji was a hero in Ramayana, yes? Absolutely the center stage. Brilliant performer. You cannot talk about Ram without Hanuman. Yes, you agree? The center figure. Sometimes more prominent than even Ram's own brothers. Hanumanji takes the prominence, right? We have more Hanuman Galis than Lakshman Gali, right? You don't find so many Lakshman Galis. Hanuman Gali everywhere. Hanuman Mandir everywhere. So Hanuman prominent. But the same Lord Ram came as Lord Krishna. Hanumanji was still around. Yes, we all know. He didn't say, Arey, we didn't come to Krishna. He said, you know what, Hanuman, I did great work for you as Ram, man. Give me some dynamic seva. But during Krishna time, Arjun was the center stage. Hanuman took the back seat. That is a very important lesson. What you did in the past is all to your glory, no doubt. It is all in your account. But don't just brag about it. Take the back seat and allow others to be center stage at that point in time. What Hanuman doing? When the Mahabharata battle happened, he could have said, Hato sab log, I did great job in Ramayana. I was single-handedly doing so many wonderful things. But at that time, he said, what will I do? I will just be sitting on the flag and just be shouting. Now, that's honestly a very humble position, right? It's something like telling a dynamic fundraiser and a book distributor and a big preacher in 30 years back, he was doing all these dynamic activities, and then he telling him, sit and give Charnamrit. It's wonderful service, nothing wrong. It's glorious. You are distributing Krishna's mercy to everybody who comes. But it's humbling, right? Here you are in the forefront, and then you are just... But that's what Hanuman did, very simple, and he was happy doing it. So he was drawing his strength from the bliss that he experienced in serving Ram at that time, and he continues to serve Krishna in his own way, but it is different. It has changed. Are you all getting it, please? It's such a beautiful lesson, my dear friends, we are learning from Hanumanji. We have to draw the strength from our humility. We have to draw our strength from the satisfaction that we give to the Lord. And the Lord is satisfied, not that we do the same service ongoing, but at some point in time, we internalize ourselves and allow others to come forward and do the service as the time goes. Because the fact is, as the time progresses, I've seen in my own life, you could be doing a service very nicely, but there is bound to be somebody coming who will do better than you. Right? Always. Records are meant to be broken, right? Whether it is cricket or it is Krishna consciousness. There is no record which can last for long. There's somebody who will come and break the record. Whether it is Tendulkar or Gary Sobers, whoever. Record is broken. Ultimately, somebody will come better. So be happy with that. Yeah? So if we are drawing the strength from our past accomplishments, it is a very, very dangerous situation. Because you will never allow, it is called Dhritarashtra syndrome. Kursi nahi chhodta hai. You will not want to give up the chair. I was great. He was a powerful person when he was young, but he didn't leave his throne even after they were defeated. He was still sitting there. And that's why we had that, how shameless you are. Bhima is throwing food at you and still you are shameless, is sitting on the... That's what Vidura told him. Right? Shameless. Because he was drawing the strength not from internalized Krishna consciousness, but he was drawing the strength from the pleasure of feeling that I'm still sitting on the throne. So, the third is drawing the strength from by associating with big people and big projects. Somehow that we are lucky to be associating with, when I say big people, I'm talking about advanced devotees. Now we are friends with them. But by being with them doesn't make us great. It just makes us very fortunate. But we are trying to draw the strength. You know what? I'm very close to this person. If you want to get something done, approach me. So you're drawing the strength. You are like a parasite, drawing the strength on somebody's strength. You are like a parasite. If you're trying to draw the strength from being associated with a big project or a big person, it is dangerous. And that's exactly what Prabhupada is trying to teach us through these pages of Bhagavatam. Do not be like a false leader. Because that's where Kaliyuga spreads. You're showing yourself to be a leader, but you're not. You're drawing your strength from something which is not a place where you should be drawing your strength from. And that's how, my dear friends, we understand that this gives rise to a whole series of incompetent leaders. This is the way incompetency of leaders grows, because they start drawing their strength from wrong places. And what is the solution? The solution is to accept the authority. To accept the authority and live within the authority. And what is the authority telling us? That yes, you can be great, but you should be always focusing on the core principles of humility in Krishna consciousness. And there's this particular water fountain. His Holiness Radha Maharaj taught us a beautiful lesson through this water fountain. That the water fountain, the water, because of the motor below it, throws the water up. And you see the water, sometimes there are fountains where the water goes many floors high, many, very high. But ultimately, what is the tendency of water? It just comes right down. Thrown up, but comes right down. Thrown up, but comes right down. And similarly, we could be doing great activities. We should be eager to serve Krishna in the maximum way. We are thrown and we can do great activities. We can do big services. That's fine. But our internal mood should always be Gopi Bhardu Pad Kamalai, or Das Anudas. Not just speaking it, literally following in our lives, genuinely in our hearts. That ultimately, whatever I am is because of the mercy of Guru, Krishna and Vaishnavas in my life. If it was not for the mercy of Guru, Krishna, Vaishnavas, I cannot do what I am doing. Impossible. They are just empowering us. It's a fact. To the extent you make your life centered around the instructions of Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, to that extent you are empowered. So that is one important lesson that we will learn from this beautiful situation that we are reading about Kali having a facade of a leader, but activities very duplicitous, obnoxious. And as we said, today is the appearance day of Mother Yashoda. And it would be very auspicious to really briefly discuss about the glories of Mother Yashoda. And how many places, as I said, you cannot glorify Krishna without the word Mother Yashoda. Right? Yashomati Nandana Brajabara Nagara Kokula Ranjana Kana. When we sing Jai Radha Madhav, Yashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana. So Mother Yashoda is such a special personality. She's born in a beautiful village near Barsana. The village name is Mehrana. Just few kilometers away from Barsana. She's born there. And of course we can discuss about her parents, but she actually, her name, the name is Yashoda, one who brings yash, one who brings fortune. So when Nanda Maharaj, the most competent of the five brothers, married Yashoda, that was a very powerful combination for Lord Krishna to take shelter of theirs and come and perform his pastimes in Sri Vrindavan Dham. It is explained that Drona and Dhara, the husband and wife in their previous lives, they performed intense tapasya. intense tapasya for years and years and years, just eating dry leaves. And they were praying, and Lord Brahma came and said, "What do you want?" I said, "We want to be the parents of the Lord." Of course, how can Lord Brahma give his benediction? Because Lord Brahma is also one of the persons who is created. How can he bless? But this was actually a pastime, because Yashoda and Nanda and Yashoda Maharaj, Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Mai, they are eternal parents of Lord Sri Krishna in the spiritual world. There cannot be anyone who can love Krishna in Vatsalya Ras more than Mother Yashoda. Her life is centered around Krishna. And there are beautiful lessons that we can learn from Mother Yashoda. She is a personality we can learn lessons from. It is explained in the 10th canto, 9th chapter, verse number 2. What was the speciality of Mother Yashoda? Something that we can easily imbibe in our lives. What was she doing? She was able to remember Krishna because she was engaged in these three processes: Kaika, Vachika, and Mansika. Very interesting. So it says she was engaged in action. She was constantly in the morning getting up and she would churn butter. Now, when acharyas explain that she didn't really have to churn butter herself. She was Brajeshwari. She was a queen of Vrindavan. She had so many servants. She could have said that, aap log churn karo, take out the butter, and then give me the butter, I'll feed Krishna. She could have said that. Why do the hard work? Right? In our modern day management language, we talk about delegation. The art of delegation. Delegate your work, But you should not be delegating so much that you have nothing to do. So Mother Yashoda could have easily told her maid servants who could have done all the hard work, but she would churn the butter herself. And how many of you have churned butter? And we all know, those who have churned butter, it is not an easy process. I remember many years back, I got enthusiastic, let me churn butter. And after half an hour, I was like, my God. And I had bought a huge quantity of curds, huge. And I was feeling that, my God, it's a very difficult task. Sridama Prabhu, you agree, right? It is extremely hard work. She would do it every day herself. She would herself do it. And the Bhagavatam explains there would be perspiration on her face. So when you do activity little, that's fine. But when you start perspiring, that means your metabolism is quite high that you start perspiring. So it was a very intense metabolic activity for the body, for Mother Yashoda, that she actually perspired. And it's described, her face was looking very beautiful because she was perspiring. And the acharyas explained that one of the things that we learn from Mother Yashoda is, try to do physical service from Krishna. Don't start delegating service for Krishna. Do it yourself. Have the pleasure of doing something for yourself. Shivaram Swami writes in one of his books that nowadays the modern principle is to be lazy intelligent. Right? We talk about lazy intelligent. It's the best thing to do. Be a lazy intelligent. And he says very graphically that most of the people in this Kaliyuga are not intelligent. So what we are left with is only being lazy. So devotees, the two things which are dangerous is egoism and lethargy. The dangers of sadhana bhakti. Egoism and lethargy. Mother Yashoda herself, every day, it's not that, I'll do it on Saturdays and Sundays. Monday to Friday, you all churn. Every day. Kaika, she would use her body in Krishna's service. And as she was doing that churning, what she would do? She would be singing for Krishna. And what she would do, she would hear a pastime of Krishna killing Putana, and she would convert that pastime into a song. And she would sing that song. She would convert the pastime of Krishna killing Bakasur and sing a song. She would sing. So isn't it possible, my dear friends, when we are doing our activities, while we are doing the activities, we should be murmuring various songs, the Mahamantra, the various stotrams. It will be so nice. So Kaika, Vachika, and her mind, Mansika. 4 things. What are the first thing? Kaika, by a kaya se. Then Vacha. And then Manas. She was constantly thinking about Krishna. That where Krishna would have gone today. Which forest he would have gone. I hope Balramji takes care. There are two personalities that Mother Yashoda always takes help of to serve Krishna. One is Balramji. She always tells Balram, please protect Krishna. I don't know what sort of Vasalya bhav is this, right? That she is feeling that Krishna needs protection. Balramji, please make sure you always with him. You please protect. You are the elder brother. Please always protect Krishna. And who is the second person she takes shelter of to serve Krishna? Any guesses? Srimati Radharani. Because Radharani was given blessings by Durvas Muni that whatever she would cook will be as sweet as nectar, and whoever eats will never fall sick. I said, the right person to cook for my Krishna. I don't want my Krishna to be falling sick at all. She's the only person who can cook for Krishna. She would call Radharani to cook at Pavan Sarovar every single day. And my dear friends, what we are going to discuss now is one of the most beautiful stories of Mother Yashoda. Srimati Radharani would come every day to cook at Pavan Sarovar. And Mother Yashoda would see. And Radharani was so very gifted in her shyness, so very gifted in all her attributes. Mother Yashoda would naturally get drawn to the beauty and to the gentleness and to the soberness of Srimati Radharani. And in her mind, she was always thinking, what is always the anxiety of mothers? That I hope I find a nice match for my son. This starts originally from Yashoda Mai. Right? That who can be a better match than this girl for my Krishna? Krishna is such a wonderful child. She's the best match. But she would always be shy. As how can I tell? She's a young girl. How can I tell her like this? But as our acharyas explain, at one day, she was so overwhelmed by the amazing qualities of Srimati Radharani. She called Radharani, please come. And then as she was talking to her, she took Radharani's lotus hands. Shivaram Swami Maharaj mentions in his book that Radharani's hands were so soft that Mother Yashoda just got melted by touching the hands of Radharani. Melted in love for her. And she took the hands of Radharani and she started applying turmeric on her hands. And she asked, Radharani, do you know what is the meaning of this? And Radharani, in a very, very naive way, he said, sorry, mother, I don't know what does it mean. What is the meaning of? I said, this means that you are engaged. This is put to girls only when they are engaged. This yellow color on the hand. And Srimati Radharani was extremely shy. And she left after that. Very happy, but very shy and little confused. And as she was walking, she met her friends, Srimati Lalita Devi, Srimati Vishakha Devi, Ranga Devi, Sudevi ji. And she was asking her, what do I do with this? Abhi to ye haath mein lag gaya. What do I do now? If I go to Barsana, what she said, if that is true, then people will wonder, what is this with whom I'm engaged? She was feeling very shy. So Lalita Devi is an expert manager. I said, don't worry. Before you enter Barsana, there's a big lake. Just wash your hands in that lake completely. Remove all the yellow from your hands. So then she went, there is Priya Kund there. So she wanted, Pili Pokar is later on it was called, before this pastime. It was called Priya Kund. So she went to this Priya Kund and she washed all the hands and it was not coming out. So it's explained, beautifully explained, Acharya says she was standing on the steps and washing. Then she entered the water and she entered further and then she washed thoroughly. And the water became completely yellow. But the gopis were very happy that all yellow is gone and they left. But the real fun is now. Krishna came searching for his cows. You know, Krishna is always doing this service. He's searching. Some cow is lost. He's searching. Where are you? Where are you? Shivaram Swami explains that Krishna's only business is search for his cows and search for the souls like us who have lost. And he's always looking for us. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Isn't it so sweet? Krishna is always looking for his cows and all the abandoned souls like us who have given up his service. Krishna bhuliya jiva bhogavancha kare nikatiya mayastane japatiya dhare. We are engaged in activities of Maya when we are forgotten. Krishna is searching. Literally, Krishna is searching for every one of us. I mean, it gives a lot of hope, right? It gives a lot of warmth in our heart. Oh my God, somebody is searching for us. And one fine day we will fulfill that search. Anyway, so Krishna was searching for his lost cow. And he said, and he passed by the Priya Kund. See, please understand, it's very graphic. The pastime is not just, he passed by the Priya Kund and then he came back. As if from a corner of my eyes, I saw something different. Usually this is not the case. He came back and he said, oh, how come this kund is so yellow? He ran, then he came back. And as he came back, he said, what is this? So then he went inside the kund. He didn't go in the waters, but he went near the kund. And then he just touched the waters. The moment he touched the water, this part of the hand became yellow. And he started feeling some sort of special feelings in his heart. And this is something which I have never experienced. Just by touching my hand, I'm feeling something very unique. All of us, I think we can easily guess what he was feeling. But anyway, we'll go further. So he said, if my hand is feeling so nice, if by just submerging my hand I'm feeling so nice, then let me take a dip. So Krishna entered the waters. He entered through on his waist. And as Acharya has explained, he entered to his head. And only the peacock feather was up on the waters. Just imagine this sight. Krishna is going inside and the peacock feather is just moving outside. That's all you could see. The moment you can see a peacock feather, you know Krishna is below. And Krishna came out. And what was Krishna's color? Krishna became golden. And the golden water was still dripping from his hair. The golden water was dripping from his clothes. And Krishna became golden. I said, this feeling I have never experienced. The feeling that what gopis experienced for me, how am I experiencing that feeling suddenly? Till now, I would always be a recipient of love. But how is it that I have become the giver of that love? The feeling of that love is in me. This must be some magic of Radharani. And that was Gaur Krishna. And that Gaur Krishna is nothing but the mood of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu ki. So this is Lord Chaitanya's mood of experiencing the love of Srimati Radharani, which actually manifested in this holy place, which is now Pili Pokhar in Barsana. But it was all very much connected to whom? To Sri Yashoda Devi. She was the one who actually showed to the world in the beginning of what is this form which is going to come very soon. I mean, at that time very soon, and for us also, just the form of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And the golden incarnation of the Lord, who actually came with the heart of Srimati Radharani. And of course, just to complete the story, the Brijbasis saw this kund is yellow. They could easily connect. Brijbasis, they want to just somewhere find Krishna and Radha together. They connected that this is must have happened. Yashoda Mai would have put turmeric over her hand. And so Radha and Krishna should get married. Jai ho! Radha Krishna should get married and everybody was very happy. But Purnamasi Devi, who is actually the expansion of, is the guru of all the Brijbasis, she knew that the speciality of Vrindavan is the Parakya Ras. How can Radha Krishna get married and have... So then, that's how, of course, there's a whole story which is beyond this class and which is beyond me speaking. So if you want, you can hear this later on. But sufficient to say that this is the glorious love of of Mother Yashoda. She is filled with Vatsalya Bhav of Krishna, for Krishna. And of course, another thing that we learn from Mother Yashoda, that Acharyas explain. One is to physically be engaged in Krishna's service and to perspire for Krishna's seva, right? The second thing that Acharya explained, that she was running after Krishna. I said, we Jiva souls are running after sense gratification. But Mother Yashoda is teaching us the need to run after only Krishna. And she was actually not only running after Krishna, but by a hard work and endeavor, she actually bound Krishna. She would actually bind Krishna. The only way we can bind Krishna is when we are running after Krishna. What does it mean to run after Krishna? What it means to run after Krishna is that somehow or the other, this lifetime is only for Krishna. I don't have any other desire. Manasaha deho geho yo kichumur arapilu tuvapade nanda kishore. That manasa deho, whatever I have, my mind, my manasa deho, my body, my household activities, I want to dedicate to you, O Krishna. I have no other desires. Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chittete Koriyo Akya Arna Koriyo Mane Asha. If you have no desire, seven, except to really serve the spiritual master and the orders that the spiritual master has given us, then our life is synonymous to running after Krishna, because we are running after just fulfilling the instructions of our spiritual master. And that's exactly what the life of Srila Prabhupada is. His whole life, he was simply running to fulfill the desire of his spiritual master, and that's how he was running to really capture Krishna. And Krishna did get captured by his love. So this is another beautiful understanding, that while we are engaged in physically serving Krishna, doing some activities for Krishna, and there is never an age. It's not that after some time. I mean, Prabhupada was doing it at the age of 70. He was running. He was perspiring for Krishna. Please understand, he was physically engaged in service. Our great Acharya, our great spiritual masters right now, at the age that they are in, they are physically engaged in service, my dear friends. Many times we just become very happy to delegate service. And now I will just sit and preach, or I'll sit and do some relaxed activity. That's not Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is all about engaging intensely in activities of Krishna physically. Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj, another great spiritual master, he says that if you do not physically serve Krishna, you will be sick. And he was telling all his disciples, all of you are sick because you don't sufficiently run and work for Krishna. Do activity for Krishna. Don't just sit. Do some work for Krishna. So you not only become physically sick, but you become spiritually sick. So that is why, to work for Krishna, Mother Yashoda would every day churn butter vigorously for Krishna. She would run after Krishna to do different chores for Krishna. That is what we learn from the wonderful personality of Mother Yashoda. So today on the auspicious appearance day of Mother Yashoda, I'm just 2 minutes late. So wonderful auspicious appearance day of Mother Yashoda. we can seek her blessings and pray to her that she can bless us with this intense love that she has for Krishna. That that love was so very clearly evident. We must mention this pastime before we end, about when Krishna ate dirt. Krishna ate dirt, and she told Krishna, open your mouth. And when Krishna opened his mouth, we all know what she saw everything within this material world she saw in Krishna's mouth, and she was bewildered. And there were various thoughts in her mind. That who is this Krishna? He's Bhagwan. Oh, what am I thinking? I'm the mother of Krishna. I'm the wife of Nanda Maharaj. Actually, I'm simply nothing. She was going through so many thought processes, and Krishna realized that this is not something which I like to have. Mother Yashoda thinking. He changed, and other Mother Yashoda said, whoever Krishna is, he needs my milk. And again, she came in Vatsalya Ras for Krishna, but she actually couldn't believe what she saw, and she was. She couldn't, she saw it, she couldn't believe it because of an intense Vatsalya Ras. So that sort of intense love is only Mother Yashoda. She is the epitome. There are 5 personalities who have Vatsalya Ras for Krishna. Mother Yashoda, Devaki, Rohini, then our Rohini and Guru, his Guru's Sandapani Muni's wife. And one person who had love for Krishna was Vakula Devi. I must mention this last. Vakula Devi was an incarnation of Mother Yashoda. Mother Yashoda was in her last days in her Vrindavan pastime. She said, Krishna, I did so many wonderful things. I played with you in the childhood. I could see your childhood pastime, but one desire is not fulfilled. And what is that? I didn't see your marriage. Because every mother likes to see the marriage, right? Acha lagta hai. I didn't see any marriage. You have so many queens, but not a single marriage I saw. Krishna said, your desire will be fulfilled. And then she came as Vakula Devi. And when Srinivas was Krishna and Tirupati Balaji, he got married to Padmavati. Vakula Devi played a very, very major role in the marriage. And you want to know more? You see the drama. The drama was done many years back. On the marriage of Srinivas and Padmavati and Vakula Devi. And I'm so happy to say that the role of Vakula Devi in that drama was performed by none other than Kirtida Devi, the wife of Vrishabhanu Prabhu. She acted as Vakula, and she was such a beautiful personality. She looks beautiful, and she acted as Vakula Devi. Anyway, there's some remembrance in my heart, because I acted as Tirup at Balaji, some other was. So that was the pastime of Mother Yashoda. She actually fulfilled her desire of seeing Krishna's marriage in the pastime as Vakula Devi. She saw Krishna getting married as a marriage of Padmavati and Srinivas of Tirupati Balaji. So that's the glorious personality of Mother Yashoda. And on this day, let us really feel blessed, and let us remember the beautiful form of Mother Yashoda in the holy land of Nandagram. We see on the main altar, she's very much residing there, and seek her blessings that we can always be serving Krishna. And she blesses us that we can always 24 hours think of Krishna the way she was thinking. Thank you very, very much. Hare Krishna. So any questions? Maybe there's no time for questions. So thank you very, very much. Have a wonderful day ahead, and hope to see you all next Sunday again. Hare Krishna. You have Kirtan now? प्रभु जी करेंगे।